And we are back. I think a good week for the boys. Really good red zone action yesterday, especially in that first window. That final witching hour of that 20 minutes were just electric. I think we had a Hail Mary. We had big losses. I think we had a bit of everything. We had a famous Jameis chucking touchdowns from every angle of every corner of the pitch. So great Sunday yesterday, lads. But first off, how are you doing, Bish?
I'm good. Yeah, like you said there, great. I've actually this weekend I've had a bit of time off from rugby, and now I'm back running. So I'm feeling my lower back and my legs are a bit sore this week. I did 5K Saturday, and then I did 11K sort of cross country with my mate on Sunday. So I sat down on the sofa for the rugby league, and then for the NFL, and my calves and my Achilles were throbbing. So it was nice to watch some NFL to take the pain away. And like you said, some great action. The Bears cornerback Stevenson, that was my favourite photo of the sort of the night. Him with his back turned, taunting the fans. Next minute, oh dear, they've caught the Hail Mary. So I found that hilarious.
Well, wasn't it?
Yeah. And then famous Jameis. You can't write it, can you? He's a national treasure.
The only running I've been doing is to the front door to collect my takeaways the last few weeks. I'm well and truly retired, as you know, and we're currently working on my Mike Bassett coach's belly, ready for the upcoming season with goal. Very good day with sport last few days. Very good red zone. Great to see the Broncos 5-3, rookie QB, another good performance. Obviously only against the Carolina Panthers, but you can only beat what's in front of you. So NFL side of things, other than a few of the punting tips, everything went well.
Like it, lads. Well, we'll get straight into it, lads. It, like I said, loads to talk about, I think. We'll start off with the interesting one. Be happy to hear this. It's Overreaction Monday. So who wants to go first?
I'll happily throw it in there, lads. This one might hurt Bish, because I know he secretly supports them.
It's not the Dolphins, is it? It's not the Dolphins.
You see, that just shows you that you do support. So my Overreaction Monday is Mike McDaniels is the next coach to be fired in the NFL.
Yeah.
And I'll just back it up in the fact of I just think he's run out of excuses. He's got a team there what needs to win now. They fell short. Like Joe said, they didn't look great potentially when Tua was right. Tua's got they've come back. They've got an home game against the Cardinals and they've lost that as well. I just think they're ready to win now with a team they sort of got. And he clearly just isn't that guy. I just don't know if he has that impact, that leadership. You see the sort of crack he has with the players, even when they're getting beat. I know he's quirky. He's a good guy for the league to have, but is he head coach material? From what I've seen since he's been at Miami, probably not. He's probably that offensive coordinator type bloke who's going to be very good, like Josh McDaniels we've seen. But when they step up to head coaches, isn't that guy. Thoughts, lads?
Couldn't agree more. I said I actually was going to say the same, to be honest with you, Tag, so I have to think of another one quick. But they've been last year, me and Bish, obviously, as you know, were really high on them. Bish a bit more than me, but they ended up not doing that well, did they? And for me, it looks like the coaching, like you said. I was thinking, imagine Dan Campbell telling you to get stuck in. You think you're running through a wall, you're doing whatever you can behind that man. Behind Mike McDaniels, you probably, like you said, it's more that leadership. Awesome coordinator, does some awesome plays, runs a good offense, but I think you need that bit extra, don't you, to be a winning team, especially in NFL, especially with a lot of good teams at the moment. And yeah, couldn't agree more.
I'll echo that. I'll bang on. I was, of course, they're putting it in some groups last night. How long's is Tevor here? Because, as you said, I have been high on them, and the flat track bullies at home, they're outstanding. Last season they were outstanding, but on the road, when teams sort of work them out, there's no plan B. we've seen without Tua, they don't have a plan B at all. And even with Tua, they can't get it done against the big teams. So yeah, I'm with you on that one. It'll be interesting to see how it unfolds, because like you said, they spent a lot of money in places, in other places, they're an aging team. Hill is a superstar, but he's not going to be around forever. The same with Raheem Mostert,
Ramsey.
Ramsey. The way Tua plays, potentially, he's going to be missing more games as well. So yeah, it's a massive question mark. Good one.
I'll go my big take, and it's a sad one because I drafted him in my other league way too high now. But I'll go if the Colts go with Joe Flacco, I think they make the playoffs. It's not a big take. It's a very safe one, but I think they make the playoffs. I think Richardson now at this point they've got to not move on, but they've got to give him a break. Maybe do the Bryce Young approach, give him more time to understand the throws, because it's just absolutely killing the team. They're in control in the second half, and he threw a interception just before the thing to get the opposition team some points, and it would too much for me. Josh Downs looks like an incredible wide receiver now. He's making himself as the wide receiver one. You've got Pittman there. You've got Jonathan Taylor with only a couple, probably 2 or 3 good years left in him. I think they need to win now, and I think Richardson's not the man to take them to that promised land of a good top playoff run, which is an obvious comment, but love to see what you think, lads.
I'm on board with you as well on this one. It's I think he's very raw. They knew that when they drafted him. He's very raw, and he makes the sort of extraordinary players look easy, but the easy players look overcomplicated, just very difficult. He can't throw that 10, 15 yard pass, but he can throw the 70-yard bomb. And what's concerning me, I actually thought about this as my overreaction is, 3rd and 10. He comes out the game because he's tired.
Yeah.
That's for me. That's just your quarterback, your franchise quarterback, your first round pick. It's what you just can't do that. You just can't do it. So yeah, he's definitely got some learning to do, and hopefully Joe Flacco can help him and bring out the best of him. But I think you're right. They'd be better at the minute with Joe Flacco in there. Or it's kind of hard to run a hybrid system, but definitely on 3rd downs, I think Joe Flacco would be the better option.
Yeah, I think if I agree again, Joe, I think there's a big question mark on Richardson. It blows my mind. Look at the best players in the best quarterback in the league, Patrick Mahomes. You got to drag him out of a game when he's on one leg. You sort of saw it with Jordan Love yesterday, and you've got a quarterback sitting out because he's saying he's tired. Just don't know what that message sends to the rest of the team. Just don't like it. Really don't like it. You can run for 1,000 yards. You don't come out of the game. I don't think Lamar Jackson's done it, and he's probably the most running QB in the league. So, yeah, I just think if they're going to win now and make that a playoffs, you've seen what Flacco's been doing. I'm on board with that. Sit Richardson to the side, get him right, because there's just a big question mark over him for me.
Yeah, the Texans only beaten by 3 points, and from like I said, a couple of them plays, the interception in the very end of the second half, the Colts should win that. I think there is a team there. They're really bad at stopping the run, but I think there's a good enough team there to actually do decent in the playoffs. And I think they need to make the change now and enjoy this year, and maybe get him ready for next year, and just keep learning.
I agree. I think offensively they've got all the pieces. They've got the wide receiver core, they've got the running back, they've got the offensive line. They just need that piece to connect it all together. So, yeah, interesting.
Come on, Bish.
And mine's a bit of a whinge. So, your two have been very good. For me, I'm just like, this is a multi-billion sport, like pound sport, and I think the officiating is in the Stone Age. Like, every sport now has taken up technology, and this is the only sport where we're using, and I'm not an ageist, but we're using middle-aged to senior men to spot a ball. We're using a chain instead of, technology like they do in the tennis. And, even the last one, Wimbledon, have taken it up this year. They've got rid of the line judges and they're using technology. I just think there's so much at stake, so much money on the line. and we're just seeing bad calls left, right, and centre every game. You know, this week there were the Vikings won to finish the game. I don't think they would have come back and won, but that's a blatantly obvious one. On the Hail Mary, there's a blatant hold. It's just like crucial moments of the games. They're just, I don't know. I just don't get it. So yeah, it was more of a whinge, but you can jump on board, lads.
The only thing I'd say is that the games are quite long already. We love it, but if you speak to other people, NFL, and take so long the games, I just think there's that much going on in the NFL. If it was changed to more up-to-date stuff, there'd be stuff getting pulled every single play. Literally, I just think there's always a foul, and every play in NFL will always be a foul committed.
Yeah,
and I think if it goes too in depth, I know there'll be hybrid ways of doing that, but my worry is it going to be too stop-start, because the sort of old blokes on the sideline like sometimes keep the flow of the game going a bit with these bad calls.
Yeah.
They do. I think the one for me, Bish, is that obviously the mask one's horrendous. I think that does get called most of the time.
And that's obvious. That just needs someone sat upstairs to radio that. Yeah, that's a face mask.
Yeah,
we have 40 seconds every play anyway. You know, a couple of seconds. We could see that sitting on sofa. You know, they've got every camera in the stadium. That's just shocking.
It was really bad. The thing for me is the spotting the ball. I can't work at you. You watch some and you're like, it's just nowhere near. Every time I watch it, there's a play every red zone, every red zone. Every time you watch a game, there's multiple calls where you just first downs not given first down. It's mainly first downs given because they give the offense every chance possible, and the ball's over here, the head's there, and they'll go from the red. They pick and choose, and like you said, I think you can't tell me they can't just put a little thing on the ball that just streamlines it and says, yeah, this is exactly where it ended up here. It never went past this point. We'll move on. It seems easy.
They could easily do it on the goal line, couldn't they? For if the ball's crossed the play and like the VAR system. I think that if you look at
that's the only place where things do get reviewed, isn't it? On goal line.
Yeah, and it's mad the fact that a coach still chucks a red flag on the floor to challenge a player. The fact that they're still chucking these little flags about it is mad when you think about it.
Yeah. And some can't even get it on the field. Some fumble the red flag and then don't get it on the field in time. It's chaos. But we love it. We love the sport.
Next one, lads. Injury report. I think Tag, you've got us covered quite heavily here.
Yeah, no, I've flagged a few, and I think we all have. But the main one I'll go into first is Christian Kirk, big wide receiver. Looked at maybe getting traded. Breaks his collarbone, done for the season. The implications of that, obviously, fantasy-wise, you've seen how good Brian Thomas is. I think that just shows that he's even more of an asset now, and you've got some serious trading power there, but you're probably keeping him. Gabe Davis, maybe a bit more ball now. Maybe go and get him, because I don't think he's probably in everyone's team. But no, just Christian Kirk, the fact of him going down and how he could have been trading, the implications of that, he'd be the first one I'd start at.
He's on one of my fantasy teams. I've been keeping him around for that reason. So yeah, a bit of a hit. Like I said, been a wasted spot anyway. And with him being out for the season, it completely kills one of my bench spots for the last week or two for no reason.
I'll be looking at, I think Evan Ingram sort of gets a bit more workload as well. You know, he's had a struggle start of the season with hamstring injury, but he came back and was one of many tight ends on tight end day to get a touchdown. So I think he gets a bit more workload as well.
Like it. What other ones did you have for us, Tag?
Rolling into the next one. I think we've got to talk about Jordan Love, haven't we? My guy, I've said for MVP. If you can get cash out now, everyone, cash out quick. Logged in, cash out, get what you can back. He's injured. Obviously, Love had an injury, come back, looked brilliant, gone down again. I don't think they've officially reported what it definitely is yet. Have they? Is it going to be scans and stuff today?
Yeah, they've said it. They said it's groin, but it looked for me it was like he was more ankle. But yeah, I'm not too sure.
I was thinking that more like ankle, syndesmosis, Achilles around that area. He didn't look comfortable. He pulled himself out of the game. Helmet came straight off, so he knew it was something definitely not good. I think it's one we just need to keep an eye on. But Malik Willis looks, I've never been a fan of Malik Willis, but he looks all right in that Green Bay offense. And I know we're going to touch on waivers soon, but again, just an injury to keep an eye on, because I think if Malik Willis gets a run in that team, we know he can run. He's looking a better thrower at the minute, so there could be a serious QB there you could pick up.
That's what interested me. We saw him come in earlier on in the year, and he just ran the ball, but they actually gave him some passing plays this week. He threw for a touchdown as well. So yeah, that's if he's developing, that's it's good signs for them.
Yeah, and last one I'll just quickly touch on before Bish takes over is Stephon Diggs. Knee injury, didn't look good. Waiting more for full reports there, but definitely didn't look good. And we saw Tank Dell just come alive, got the touchdown. Obviously, Nico Collins coming back soon as well. We don't know officially when he's back. I think they said the next couple of weeks, didn't they? Probably
week 10, I think. Yeah,
but we had the Tank Dell talk on the panic stations last week, Joe, and those who have held on to him are looking in a pretty strong position right now.
Yeah, they are. Yeah, in my other league, I've held on to him probably against my own advice. So yeah, I've got lucky. I think you've got lucky, haven't you? Because he's dropped a lot of balls. He's not looked fantastic all year, to be honest. But now he's the number wide receiver one. He got the touchdown. He's got to be in for a big week if Houston are going to still compete at that high level they have been.
Yeah, non-contact as well. So there, that looks like long term, doesn't it? Which is a shame.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I've got two. I'll start with non-offensive player. It's Christian Darrisaw, the left tackle for the Vikings. He got rolled up on in the game on Thursday night against the Rams, and I think they've announced it's a knee injury, season ending. So that's huge for that Vikings offense. Obviously the left tackle protects the quarterback. He's very good at his job. And then sort of when he went out, the Rams got a lot more pressure on Sam Darnold. And, we sort of, everyone goes on about, we'll see the old Sam Darnold. Well, under pressure, any quarterback, if you're not that elite quarterback, you will struggle. And we saw that. So I don't think it hurts you. You're Justin Jefferson's, Aaron Cook will still, Aaron Jones will still get you yards. But maybe those other guys, maybe your Addison, potentially TJ Hawkinson's back soon as well. So I think that's just one to watch out. Obviously, if you lose that left tackle, a lot more pressure. That's going to affect Darnold throwing the ball. So that's one to just be careful of, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've been streaming Darnold again, and yeah, I think for people who I watch some YouTubers who talk about offensive lines and some of the other stuff, and they're saying he's one of the top left tackles in one or two in the game. So yeah, big loss for Vikings. I think in the Overreaction Monday 2 or 3 weeks ago, I think I said, they're going to make the final. I said some crazy stuff about them. I was really, really high on them, but I think like I said, with Darnold getting that bit of pressure, it probably caps them to making the playoffs and probably not getting further now because they don't quite have the talent, I think, on the defensive side. And obviously now, like you said, along that offensive line.
Yeah, and then I'll touch on my last one. My last one's Jordan Mason, the 49ers running back. Obviously, he's the fill-in for CMC, who's not played yet this year, but he picked up a shoulder injury, I think possibly 2 weeks ago now, and he's been in and out for the last 2 weeks. He plays a little bit, comes off injured, and then Joe, your man, Guerrero, he had a very good second half. He's looking very good. So I would probably say going for, they've got a bye week this week, and then supposedly CMC is back for week 10. So I'd probably say Jordan Mason you've probably missed your window to trade him. I think you're probably stuck with him, but I think he could be limited to a number 3 role here. I think, if CMC comes back, he will be the lead back, obviously. But I think Guerrero, being fit and healthy, being explosive, I think he's jumped Mason there. So I am a Jordan Mason owner in the league. So yeah, that's a bitter pill to swallow, that one.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, I think we said it in the previous show, didn't we? Was it you, Tag, that said trade him now while you've still got some value?
Yeah.
Yeah, I traded Mason a few weeks ago in the punt myself. Yeah, I just think CMC is obviously going to come back into the picture at some point. He needs to play this year for me. And Garendo, yeah, fully fit, looked really impressive last night.
Time for the train, lads. It's Panic Station. I should have think of a better line there, so that we're poor. But we're in Panic Stations. Let's start us off. It was a pretty good week for most, to be fair. I'm going to take us on the train of them, what we've discussed there about the Vikings. Are you taking anyone on the Vikings offense not named Justin Jefferson anymore with that big injury to Derrishaw?
Well, I think obviously Bish covered quite a bit. I'd be a bit worried on maybe more the running game. Aaron Jones has been a lot better than people thought this year after getting traded and what he's done there. He obviously is still very good. He's injury prone, Aaron Jones. You've lost the tackle now. I wouldn't be panicking, but I think Aaron Jones still got quite a decent bit of value there. If I'm an Aaron Jones running back owner and I can sort of do one or two double trade and bring in a more of a not as injury prone running back, a top one, I wouldn't get out on Jefferson. I don't think you'd be high enough on Addison stuff at the minute from what he's done so far this year. I'd just be a not panicking station. No trains have left the platform yet, but if I'm an Aaron Jones owner, I'd be open to trading. That's all I'd say on the Vikings.
Okay.
Yeah, I see what you're saying, and again, I just said earlier Jones would be fine, and I think because he's a pass catching running back, you get that added value out of him. But yeah, I understand what you're saying. If that offensive line now it's a lot weaker, running to that left side, it's going to be a struggle.
I've got a name, lads, who seems to get drafted high for the last 4 or 5 years, but never seems to quite deliver on that draft value. Are we finally letting him go? Tyler Lockett.
Oh, I think this depends on DK Metcalf, how long he's out for. I think we saw well done, Joe, on your bet. JSN, Jackson Smith and Jigba took the main role, but I think there is, because the Seahawks defensively are so bad, I think there's still serviceable for that second wide receiver. So as long as DK Metcalf is out, I think you'll get some value out of Lockett in terms of playing him probably as a flex, because they've got to pass the ball to someone. So I'm probably keeping him and using him sparingly, depending on my team. But yeah, I don't think you're getting much value if you're trying to trade him. Yeah,
exactly. I think his capital's gone right down. As you say, it depends on DK. I think there's no point in trading him. You're not getting enough value for him. I think you sit him there, and if you need to play him 1 week, DK is out, and you look at the opposition, then he's there to be used. We know what he's like. He's a top quality veteran wide receiver. He's going to get the odd touchdown. So, yeah, I think the train has left with Lockett. I think you just need to play him when needed.
Lads, you got anyone?
Man is someone who Bish owns, and I'm just thinking Devontae Adams.
The
panic station for me is Devontae Adams. I mean, he had the old fake hammy. He got his trade. He's gone to the Jets. They couldn't even muster up 250 yards in offense. Well, sorry, the other team didn't muster 250. No turnovers, and you still lose the game. The first time since 2012 in a Rodgers and Devontae Adams team. I think we know he's going to click, and there will be the odd game Devontae goes big. I have got Devontae myself in one of my leagues, but in the punt, obviously, Bish is carrying him, and I was thinking of going for a bit of a plunge on him last week. I'm glad I didn't. Just what you're thinking with Devontae. I mean, for me personally, if I own Devontae Adams now, I'm thinking I'm just going to have to stick with him and see if they turn it round, because I just don't know if you're going to get as much value as you want. What you're thinking, Bish being the owner?
Yeah, that's exactly it. I took the punt on him, getting traded. I expected him to be traded. Yeah, that happened, and my thoughts on Rodgers and the Jets, so I won't go into that. But yeah, it's just not clicking. And if anything, it's probably the Garrett Wilson owner. You're probably a bit worried at first, and now I think you're laughing because it's had like a flip reverse effect on him. It's now obviously Devontae is the main man. He's getting the main cornerback.
Teamed, yeah.
Wilson is just open. He's changed his route. He's not running the slant routes. That's all Devontae Adams now. Wilson is, he's on the go routes and running deep. So Devontae Adams, I am a bit worried. Again, I'm just going to have to sit tight and wait for it to click. I'm in a position and got some players that I can rotate. So I chose Devontae Adams over Terry McLaurin this week. It was a bad choice, but he still mustered up 7.5 points, Devontae, in a pretty poor game. So when he has a good game, I think he'll double that. So I'm just fingers crossed he hits the form soon.
Yeah, he's one of them, especially with you've got options there, Bishop, the wide receiver. I'd say you're playing based on matchup. I think your argument and your thing you'd have to be very good at is guessing which ones are good or positive matchups now with the Jets, aren't they? Because you don't have a clue. It'd be so hard. They should be an elite team. They're currently one of the worst in the NFL. So, play him on positive matchups, but your guess is better than mine on which game.
What's positive? Well, I thought this one would have been. That's why they were playing New England, but clearly not. And I'm coming in with 2 wide receivers as well, and I'll start with a guy that Tag you were big on in your rankings, and that's Drake London. With Kirk Cousins is throwing the ball. But it seems like Kyle Pitts has been unearthed, and Darnell Mooney seems to be the main target. So, with Drake London, he's still catching balls. He caught 4 out of 6, but the yardage is very, very limited. What can you do with him? Are you trying to get rid of him? Are you thinking it'll come good? What's the thought process?
Yeah, I'm still all in on him. Cousins is looking more like his normal self yesterday. Mooney has been looking like his main target. Pitts has been a bit up and down. We'll get to Kyle Pitts in the next segment. So I'll speak on him then. But I think he's still trying to find London. London still had some big games this year. Draft-wise, you're probably not going to get trade-wise, probably not going to get what you sort of would want for him. But if I'm Drake London, I'm happy. I'm keeping him. I might even make a play at him in a few other leagues this week, these next coming days. Yeah. I just think Kirk Cousins is getting his touch going, and Mooney's a real threat, and they might start sort of covering Mooney a bit more, which might leave London a bit more open, as we've spoken about with Garrett Wilson. So, yeah, I'm not panicking yet if I'm Drake London. I'm happy seeing what Kirk's doing, and he is still trying to find London. So that is pretty positive.
Yeah, he's actually, to be fair, he's still a top 10 wide receiver on the year, even after he's had 3 bad games. But he's actually still had a really good year because he had such a good week. He had such a good week when he played Tampa Bay the last time around. He got 30 fantasy points, which for a lower year on the wide receiver room. So he's still doing all right. So I'd say, yeah, you're keeping him, like you said, for where you drafted him and where Tag might have had him, maybe not quite that, but I think like Tag said, I think the train's still in the station, and like Tag said, I'd maybe be on one down week. I'm getting on that train and see what deals are to be made.
Nice, you better act soon then, because once he has that big one, there's no chance he's getting moved, is it? Yeah. And then my last one, it's a funny one because we spoke about in the last 2 weeks. It's Cooper Kupp. Obviously, we made that trade. I took a gamble on him, and then I sort of packaged him into Kyron Williams and got rid of him. I wasn't sure on that, but after watching Thursday night, I am relieved that I got it done before that game started, because for me, it looks like the same as last year. He's still hobbling. It looks like he's playing the role for the team. Puka's going to be the volume guy, and to be fair to Kupp, he'll still get you touchdowns, but in a half PPR league that we're in, you want those receptions, and I just think Kupp is a shadow of his former self. So I'm happy I got rid of him. What do you boys think? What would? Well, Tag, you got rid of him, so obviously you're not high on him. So,
yeah, I offloaded him too, but but I was the same as you. I was a bit whether in 2 minds whether I did that or not, and obviously Amari Cooper. And 0.8 points yesterday, so you take Kupp over that at the minute. Yeah, I'm a bit like you, mate. He just don't look fully fit. He's not where the capital he used to be. He's obviously still a go-to guy for him, but he's not going to get that volume. I think you've absolutely nailed it, and I share the same thoughts, mate. If I'm a cup owner, I'm worried if I've not got much depth at wide receiver. If you've got a bit of depth and you can sort of pick and choose his games, then 100% is a nice little added pleasure to have. But to rely on him as your wide receiver one, like he has been the last few years, you're just not going to get that volume. He just, like I said, he just looks a bit of a broken man to me.
We have it, lads. Next one, Bish, lead us out. It's the top players of the week. Who is your top player of the week? There's plenty to choose from.
Yeah, there's a few, and I've mentioned it is a tight end week, but I've actually gone with 2 quarterbacks. So my star player of the week is Jalen Hurts. I needed him for a touchdown, and he delivered 3 rushing touchdowns, 35 points, and we're in a WhatsApp group tag, and someone actually said he's in the pocket throwing balls. We used to seeing him as a running quarterback. And now he looked like he's got a touch. The last couple of weeks he's found AJ Brown, nice balls, sort of 1 meter, 2 meters off the sideline. So he's looking like he's developing that touch now. And that were a tough game to start with. They didn't have much ball, but they turned it around, and he played very well. 236 passing yards, only 1 passing touchdown, but he rushed for 3 on the ground. So. Yeah, Jalen Hurts for me. It looks like the Eagles have started to turn the corner a little bit.
Yeah, I've always been really high on Jalen Hurts. Bish, it's been an ongoing joke in the WhatsApp group we've had for a few years, and it's good to see him doing what he can do. Definitely a star performance.
Like it. Tag, who's your top player of the week?
Sorry, I'm back. A bit of a cough. It is National Tight Ends Week, so let's praise the tight end. I'm on the back of this choo-choo train of the tight ends. I've got him. I'm going to give him some love. It's Kyle Pitts. Over 23 points. He celebrated a bit too early on that second touchdown. I think if there's enough cameras, it might have got overturned that. But he's been stewing nicely. I wanted more from him. His family sort of come to the party. Hopefully he keeps going with this party, but I just thought Kyle Pitts deserves a shout out. Who's had a bit of stick this year, because obviously everyone expected him to explode straight away with Captain Kirk.
Yeah, top performance. That's where we need the line judge. No touchdown that one.
Yeah, I can't give him it just purely for that play. Nearly ruined it for his team, but got away with it. So yeah, fair play in the end. Had a good game. I'm with you, Tag. I'm on the tight end week. Tight ends. I'm going to shout out my own tight end that I played this week. It's got to be Cade Otton, obviously Tampa Bay, with very reported how their wide receiver room's doing at the moment. They're all in hospital together, and Otton's one of the top men available. 9 receptions on 10 attempts, 81 yards and 2 touchdowns. Baker looked for him often and was the man for Baker. And to be honest, I picked him up on the waiver wire. It might end up being one of my best waiver wire pickups of the year, and I didn't spend a thing. And so I can forget about that 75 fav I paid for another tight end. Yeah. I can say I've done a good job at my tight end position in the end. I think if Cade Otton and Baker keep going the way they're going.
Yeah, I think it's a great pickup, Joe, and he's going to get plenty of volume.
Yeah, certainly better than likely on my bench now. So that's a good bit of fab wasted. Bish, again, I'll let you lead us off. It's the waiver wire pickups this week. Who have you got?
Waiver wires, and it might be a couple of weeks too early. Usually I do this after your trade deadline, but I like to be ahead of the curve. So for me, it's handcuff season. It's your running back handcuff season now. We're halfway through the league. It's time to, well, if you're in a good position in your league, it's time to double down on your sort of running backs. And the ones I'm looking at, I've listed a few. I've got Ray Davis at the Buffalo Bills, although James Cook had an outstanding game. But if he goes down, Ray Davis has looked very good. I've got Blake Corum at the Rams. It's a good offense. Kyron Williams is pretty similar in terms of his playing style. I think he'll fit in really well. Tyler Goodson at the Colts. Jonathan Taylor came back, but when he was out, I think Goodson was the perfect backup there. He proved himself. And my last one, who probably is a bit of a reach because I don't think he'll be on your waivers, but Tyler Algier. We know what he's about. He's been about it for a couple of years now. If Bijan goes down, Tyler's straight in there. And on the ground, he'll get plenty of points and touchdowns. So yeah, maybe a couple of weeks too early, but I'm looking to start handcuffing the top offenses and running backs.
I'll chuck another name in the mix there. Bish, I'll put Zach Charbonnet, who I picked up a bit, and then I've released him again. But like you said, if that's the way you're going, it's smart. Like you said, the trade's on. So, yeah, I'd say any of them brilliant pickups.
Early. I would say got mentioned earlier as well, but Garendo,
good shout.
He's going to be still in quite a few waiver windows. I think pick him up, even if CMC's back week 10. We know how brittle he is. And like you said, if you get that starting running back in that Nana system, you're guaranteed points. Maybe we have to sit him on the bench.
I like it. Mine is going to be, let me just load this up. Sorry, lads. It's going to be a risk, but again, he's still on our waiver wire. Don't know how. It's going to be Keon Coleman. I just think he's going to keep growing on. He scored 14 points last week, 15 points this week. They're finally there. It's what rookies do. It's what you do when you draft rookies. Obviously, it's brilliant when you get a Justin Jefferson or or Marvin Harrison or one of these that firing straight away. But it's what normally happens by the end of the season. These rookies who are top level come to the forefront, and especially as you said, Bish, when the trade deadline's over in your league, I think he'd be a brilliant one to just have on your bench and let him grow into the year. And come playoffs, he's going to be a serious player. So if I had any fab, I'd be all over picking him up. But whether someone else has got a bit of fab to spend or not, I probably won't be able to get him.
Yeah, and I'll just quickly double down on what I said last week. Famous Jameis. I said if he's available, you need a QB, go and get him. I don't think many people did. Maybe wanted to wait and see what went on, but that Ravens defense is the real deal. You saw what he did there, and obviously we know he's going to throw interceptions, but he's going to throw up some big scores the rest of this year, I think, if you need a QB.
And I think you touched on it last week as well. You're not massively hindered for interceptions. So we know Jameis, he will throw interceptions. He should have thrown at least 2 or 3. I think Kyle Hamilton hit him in his chest and bounced off. But you're not massively hindered, and you know he's going to get the yardage. So yeah, I'd agree with that. I had Cedric Tillman down as that deep target as well. So yeah, good shout.
The last one, I don't think, like you said, it was more about the tight ends, but we're called the punt. So, any good kicking story this week, lads?
I'm just going to chuck in there, just off the top of my head, just come to my head. Can't remember his name, but Jacksonville Jaguars punter with a 71-yard punt, but went out at the 1 yard line. The other team, he punted for 71 yards. It was the best punt I've seen in years. Can't remember his name, but fair play to you, pal.
The punter. Yeah. I'm coming with the Cardinals kicker Chad Ryland, and there's a bit of a story behind him. He got drafted last year by the Patriots in the 4th round. Only kicked 16 out of 25 field goals, got cut, and then the Cardinals picked him up about 4 weeks ago. I think he's played the last 4 games. He's only missed 1 field goal, and then he's kicked a winner. As we said earlier, against the Dolphins to win the game for him, along with a 57-yarder as well. So, yeah, bit of adversity shown there. He's come back and bounced back and earned his team some points.
Yeah, similar story to that. Brandon McManus, we mentioned him last week. There's another shout out, another game-winning field goal for the Packers after getting cut earlier on in the season. Yeah, unbelievable. Great kicking year, and I think it's what they're saying. It's been one of the best kicking years of all time. So we've had a few good stories. They're hitting 50-yarders from any day, any weather. So yeah, long keep it going, because the position that gets more stick than I think all the others combined with the ones. So yeah, thank you, lads. Base, do you want to finish us off?
Yep. Please like, subscribe, get your comments in. Let us know who you're panicking with. Any trades going on before your trade deadline. Let's get them in the comments and we'll see if we can help you out. But yeah, thanks for tuning in. Week 8 is in the books. Look forward to week 9.
See you soon, lads.